guys, I gotta get some fucking food. Oh my god, my hamstrings are fucked up. Okay, so identity has been the #1 driving factor for my success in the gym. And then I'm gonna, holy shit, bro, shit's tight. And I'm gonna explain how and why. So why this is the #1 thing is because when I first started lifting, I knew, hold on, let me fix that. I knew that if I showed up like the version of myself that had amazing workouts, that I was gonna get amazing results. And my physique has been a correlation of that identity. But I also realized that I was using the gym as an outlet for my emotions and to deal with everything going on in my life and to escape my life, actually. And it became like a drug, honestly, for me. It was an escape avenue to get away from people, to get away from circumstances, to get away from my problems, to escape things that I didn't want to face. And it gave me a relief to those situations because I could just like basically turn my head the other way and go to the gym and come out of the gym feeling amazing, you know, because I just had a really good workout. But I would go into the workout hating myself, and I would only have those few moments of bliss and freedom while I was basically in the sets where I was, you know, pushing myself to an extreme level. And then that small pocket out of the sets when I was like, you know, I could just feel the pain, you know. It's like every rep and every set that I did was like releasing this emotional disturbance within inside of me that I had towards myself. And it brought, so like I would bring everything out onto the table when I would go into my sets, because I had so much pain and frustration and hate for things and for myself, and I would just bring it all out. I would just put every single thing that I could out there on the set, and that was my way of escaping it, because it was a positive way for me to get rid of these emotions. And I'm gonna talk about emotions in another video because that's a whole nother topic. But it was a positive way at the time for me to get it out there, to get what I needed out there, so that I could go and I could be a more relaxed version of myself when I would be around people, and I wouldn't like react so much, and I wouldn't like, you know, be angry and stuff. And so that's what I did. But for years, I would use this for years, up until pretty much just last year. I would use this as an avenue to escape myself. And, you know, it tore me apart though, because I would have so many problems in my life because I wasn't facing the things that I needed to outside of the gym. I wasn't doing the inner work on myself, besides the fact that I was going into the gym and taking all my frustration, all my anger, all my resentment, and all my hate out on the gym, and all my hate towards myself out on these sets. And then I would come back home and I would just sit there and I would just be like, okay, we're good now, like, you know, it's fine. For like, I would have like maybe an hour or two of like that release, that like, you know, like that runner's high, that lifting high. Like I would have that good feeling inside of me that would carry on for a little bit, and I would be like, okay, the rest of the day is fine, like it doesn't matter what else happens. But I wasn't taking care of anything else outside of the gym, and my habits suffered, my relationships suffered, you know, I lost a lot of people in my life. I lost myself, which was the worst part. And you know, it took me a long time to become aware of this, and the only way I became aware of it is through the form of meditation. And this changed my entire life. This changed my entire outlook on everything. And it helped me to realize these situations that I was putting myself in the gym, and how I was using the gym as a form of like a drug to escape myself, my habits, my life, and everybody around me. And that's why meditation is so important, and that's why I talk about it so much, is because it brought me to this new sense of awareness, this new self, this new identity within inside of me, to not hate myself anymore, and to not use the gym as a form to torture myself and to torment myself into this like release. You know, it felt like I was ripping a part out of me every single time. And so I had to do the inner work though on myself in order for me to produce a new outcome with my results towards my emotional state, towards lifting, and towards my life, and towards correcting all these other things in my life and stuff. Because I was always good at lifting, you know, I was always, because I was obsessed with it, right? And I used that obsession and that hate in the gym, and then I didn't do anything else though, which was the problem, until I became aware of this problem. And now I'm able to utilize my experience in the gym, the level of intensity and intention, as an avenue now to bring it to life with everything else that I do in my life now. Like, I can bring this level of intensity, this identity, the version that I show up as in the gym when I walk in the gym doors, when I get into my car to go to the gym. It's like I'm breaking through. It's like I'm becoming this new version of myself. I'm putting on this like identity, this coat. Like, I feel like I'm Superman, you know? And I feel like I'm showing up to the gym like I'm there on a mission, you know? And I'm showing up as this version every time. And then I realized that I can actually take this identity, this version of myself that I bring into the gym, the one that is like so intentional, so focused, so determined, you know, just completely driven and obsessed. And I can take this identity and I can ball it up, and I can use the awareness that I gained around experiencing this identity that I have in the gym, and I can take it and mash it, and I can put it into pieces in every other part of my life, you know, with my habits, with my relationships, you know, with who I want to be on a daily basis, not just when I go to the gym, but my entire life, my entire day, you know, is revolved around this identity of waking up and showing up as this person. And so that is what I am doing when I wake up now, is like I'm showing up as this new version of myself every single day, to not just to prove to myself that I am worthy, but to like every day is a new process of becoming this version of myself. Every day that I show up as this new version of myself, as this more complete version of my identity, of my true self, because it is the true self. That is my true self. The version of me that goes to the gym and explodes on workouts and brings his heart out into the workout, that is the version of me that should be all the time, because that is my true self. The problem was I wasn't bringing that into all these other aspects of my life though. I wasn't showing up as that version of myself in all these other aspects of my life. And you know what happened because of that? I started to suffer with my results in the gym, because I was so upset with every single thing going outside of me that it got to a point where I would go to the gym, but I was just like, I started to honestly go through the motions at a certain point in my life for like 2 weeks, I think. You know, I lost my passion at a point, and that's a whole nother topic. That's another story. I lost my passion at one point in my life for lifting and for every single thing in my entire life. I had no drive, I had no motivation, I had nothing inside of me. I was completely empty. There was not anything going on inside of me at all. And I had nothing, no feelings. Like, I didn't know what it was like to feel anymore. and it was horrible. It was a numbing pain that I've never experienced before, and that I'll make another video maybe talking about something like that. But this is what I want to bring though to other people, to show that this identity that I have with myself when I go into the gym, that you can bring this into every single part of your life though. And I know there's guys out there that use the gym as a way to escape their relationships, themselves, their problems, and everything else in their life. It's just, that's why they love it. But they don't know though that they're using it as a drug to escape all of these different things. And I was doing that for a long time. And people would talk about me like, you know, this is the only thing you have going for you. You know, this is like, you know, all you do is lift. This is the only thing you're good at. You know, you can't make any money in the gym. You can't, like, you're not gonna be anything else besides just some idiot that works out, some gym rat, you know. And you know, it's just like I don't take those things personally anymore. But at a point in time when people used to like look at me as like just some dumb kid that just goes to the gym and that's all I had going for me, that's literally how people looked at me. And you don't know the feeling of what it's like when someone is looking down on you, like you're just like an animal, or like you're like you don't belong and like you're out of place. And I received this look so many times in my life. You know, I can't even bring the same emotional state out now that I felt then, because I feel so different now than I did then. But if I was trying to describe it, like I would walk into places where like just anywhere, and I felt like people were despising me, and I felt like people were always looking down on me, or like something was wrong with me. And I don't know why. I didn't know why. Like I just like I would tell my parents that when I would walk into like classrooms and stuff when I was going to school, not like my high school, but like when I was going to OSU and stuff, that it's like people would just like give me that look, like after I would speak to, like after I would like try to open up to people, people would just be like look at me like, why is this like animal, this creature like trying to talk to me? And maybe I'm just projecting here, but I don't really believe that is completely true, because this is the feeling. I feel like I can really feel people's intentions without ever talking to them. And that is what I felt though at the time. Maybe I was completely wrong. Maybe I was just in that pessimistic mindset, but that's what it felt like, at least. And I want people to realize and believe that there's so much more than just your experience. There's so much more than you just being a gym rat. There's so much more than you just being some fucking, what's the term that I call you? A meathead. That's what I would be called all the time, is a fucking meathead. And it's like, I don't really care, because like they're just projecting their beliefs onto me because they are insecure about themselves, I believe. That's what I believe, honestly. But it was so hard for me at the time when I was just completely hated myself, and I already despised myself as it was, and people would look at me like that, and it made me want to just like not hurt people at all, but it just made me like I despised the world, you know. I didn't like people at all. I didn't want to be around those types of people because of it. And it made me just like really just fume with hate and stuff. Like, you know, the type of hate that, like, if you ever watched Naruto, like, you know the type of hate that Obito had for like everybody, and like that took away the love of his life and stuff. Like, that is that's the type of hate that I felt like I had at the time, when I totally despised what was going on in my life. I totally despised the situation that I was in, and I didn't realize that it was all my fault. Every single thing was my fault, and blamed other people because of it. I despised them, I resented them, and I was constantly like in this battle of neglect with myself. But meditation showed me the way to a new life, and I believe that with the combination of these two things, of combining meditation to be able to rewire yourself, to do the inner work on yourself, to reflect out a new outer reality for yourself, I believe that you can create more than just who you think you are. Because right now, if I was talking to my younger self, if I was talking to the version of myself that looked at people and felt like people were always looking down on me, there was something always wrong with me, you know what I would think in this moment right here? I would be like, there's got to be another way. And that's what I came to the conclusion. There has to be another way for me to not just like, I'm not trying to look for validation from other people, but I just want people to accept me for who I am, for me being just me. Yeah. And as soon as I started doing the inner work on myself to truly make peace with all of these circumstances, all of these people, all of these things I used to hate and despise about myself, all these different beliefs that I picked up from other people over the years, from everything around me, from this entire world that I lived in. As soon as I started doing that inner work every single day and being consistent, I showed up every single day, and I would do this for hours some days. And I'm not saying everyone has to do that. I'm not saying everyone has to take it to that extreme level, but I wanted to know so badly what the truth was. What is the truth? What am I here for? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do from this point on? And that is how I found myself, and that is how I realized that I was creating all of my problems. I was creating these circumstances in my life to reflect back onto me the hate that I was giving out. Because just because you have a thought and an emotional state attached to it, you know, it doesn't mean that it's true. But the thing is, when you identify with those things and you believe in your heart and your mind that it's true, and you keep on reoccurring and creating those thoughts, you start to see those things pop up in your reality. And that's what I was doing though. I believed that the worst things were going to happen to me. I believed that everybody had it out to get me. And I believed that people were constantly despising me and looking at me like there's something wrong with you. And I hated it so much. And I hated being in that state until I freed myself and I allowed myself to just experience all of it while I was doing the inner work. Because you can't just go to the gym and take all these problems to the gym and think that it's going to fix every single thing in your life, because you are neglecting like 98% of your day where you're thinking negatively, where you're upset with yourself, where you're spiteful towards, you know, your situation and your circumstances, and you're constantly like, you know, fuck this, fuck these people, fuck them, you know, like you're just thinking like from this pessimistic mindset where it's like, you know, I'm separate from you, you're doing your own thing, people, you know, that don't like me, it doesn't, like, you know, fuck you guys. Like pretty much that mentality is what I had, because I felt like people were always looking down on me, like I was like stupid and like that I had nothing of use to offer and that I was just some fucking meathead. And meditation showed me that path through. It showed me a new reality for myself, and that combined with lifting, I went from, this is the transformation here. I went from being this, I had I had like a solid physique at the time. I'll probably put a picture or something over here before I started to like find this new version of myself. You know, it was pretty like, oh, it was pretty solid, right? But after I started doing this work, oh my goodness, you won't fucking believe it. I literally, 3 to 4 months after this was during the transformation where I was doing the inner work every single day alongside lifting and going to the gym. It brought me into a new heightened sense of awareness that blew my fucking mind. I became so hyper aware of my body and my state of being that I was able to realize my problems. I was able to realize my problems in my life. I was able to realize the problems that I was creating all around me. And I was able to realize all of the problems within my physique, my body. And I was super aware of where my muscular development was going wrong and how I could actually correct it. It's like I was being shown all of the answers through this new enlightened path. And it spoke to me so much on such a deep level. I never wanted to stop doing the inner work. I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like I'm not making this up. I woke up from my meditation one time, and some people don't know this feeling, and I want you guys to be able to feel this feeling. It is the best feeling you can ever have in this world, I feel like. When you get up from like this meditation and you just feel like everything is okay, like everything is just taken care of, like everything is gonna be fine, everything's gonna work out for you, and that peace and that fulfillment, oh my gosh, like it's bringing me back to that state right now. And I woke up from that meditation and I just stood there and I just was like, I just felt the sun. I felt like this warm sensation in my body because my whole body I literally had tingles down my entire body. My entire body was tingling while I was in this meditation. And I got up from the meditation and I just knew that everything was gonna be okay. And I felt so free and alive in that moment. And nobody could take that experience away from me. And I just felt like even if I were to die that day, that I lived the most amazing life. And then I'm just so happy that I got to experience that moment, because that bliss, that sensation, oh my God, like I'm starting to feel it a little bit in my heart. Like I felt a joy that I never felt ever in my life. There's no drug, there's no, like, sex isn't gonna bring it to you. Nothing in this life will bring that feeling to you. I don't know what else I could do. Like, that feeling was so good. Like, I can't even put it into words, honestly, besides that. Like, it's just an experience that you have to experience for yourself to understand. And that's why I speak so heavily about it, because it's not just the feeling, though, that it created for me. It's what that feeling did to me that changed me forever. And after that, I have never been the same. I've experienced more moments like that as well, by the way, but I have never felt the same since that day, or since that time frame too as well, like leading up to that exact meditation. I would never forget that moment. And it was a life-changing experience for me. This period, this like 2 to 3 month period where I was doing so much inner work on myself, and my outer reality became a reflection of all the good that I was experiencing in those meditations. I would go to the gym and I would have the most amazing workouts. I just felt so connected to the muscle, and I felt so relaxed in my body. There was not an ounce of anxiety in me. I didn't even know what anxiety even was anymore. Like, it's like it just didn't even exist, because when you were feeling so much love and joy inside of you, you can't even, like, it's impossible for the anxiety to exist. Like, I just had anticipation for all the good things that were gonna happen. And I didn't have any money at this time. Like, I wasn't had any money. I didn't, like, all I had was Kim, pretty much. I had Kim and maybe like 2 other friends and my brother. And that was pretty much it. Like, my family obviously as well. But I wasn't seeing my family at all because I was busy at school. So like that was all that was going on for me though at this time. You know, it was nothing else besides that. And I started to like, when you get to this state too, you start to just align yourself naturally with the things that are going to be setting you up on the pathway to the life that you asked for, like the life that you were here for. And this is what I mean by like this transcendental experience that I had, like changed my life that day. It changed my life forever, and it's never going to be the same. And I've had so many more experiences since then that are relatively similar to that, and some of them maybe even just as good. But the thing is, when I combined these two things together, when I combined meditation and lifting together, this inner reality that I was creating and putting in the action, this effort on the outside, and combining these two together, I created a unit for myself, this new identity for myself in the gym, where I wasn't operating from a state where I hated myself anymore. It was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so powerful, like I'm so much stronger than I ever thought I was. And I realized the potential that I had, and it blew my mind. I was like, wow, I can do so much more than what I actually think I'm actually capable of right here. Like all the shit that I've done in my 6 years of training, my 5-6 years, it was 5 years at the time, all the experience that I had before those 5 years was just like a breadcrumb of what I felt like I was actually truly capable of. And I was like, dude, I can lift so much more weight. I can become this flexible. I can be this functional. I can be like this strong in my mind and my body. And this combination together was like, it was like a brute force of just fucking like, I don't even know. It was like, I just felt like a very powerful being operating from that state all the time. Made me feel like I was just like on top of the world. Not like from like I'm looking down on other people, but like I just felt like I was just like so whole and connected to the version of me that I was always meant to be. And I was able to bring that into every single thing that I was doing though. I was able to like bring that into like my encounters with my relationships, and I was able to bring that into the gym. I was able to bring that into like my habits and stuff. I started like cleaning up some of my habits a bit more, and I was able to, you start to realize that you align yourself with those things naturally, like what I was saying before. Like I started eating different foods because of it, and I started to feel so much better on the inside. Like I could just feel like something amazing was gonna happen all the time. And that feeling of like when you wake up excited for your day to start, because you're just so excited to start the day, because you just like, you can't wait for what's gonna happen. You just feel like something amazing is gonna happen. Oh my gosh, that feeling right there, everybody needs to feel that. Like waking up with that level of excitement and intention when you're just like, bro, I'm so ready, like something amazing is gonna happen today. Like you just are so pent up with this like this excitement and this anticipation and this love for the day. And you know, that's a feeling that nobody can take away from you. That's a feeling that you can't buy. You can, it's like just everything like that is, there's so much more to it than just that. I know I'm like kind of like starting to ramble on a little bit here, but this experience alone changed my life, and I want to be able to share this with you guys as well, because I know that somebody can take something away here and maybe be able to apply this to their situation and start, you know, applying this new idea behind like meditation and bringing it into like this actionable step that you can take into the gym, to combine these two things together and bringing in a new state of awareness to create this new version of yourself. And because every single rep that I was doing from that point on, after I had that experience, it felt like I was creating a new version of myself. Like I felt like the more I went to the gym, the more like every stretch that I was doing, it was with pure intention. When I was doing my stretches at night, I was like, okay, 30 more seconds, just 30 more seconds. and all of my anxieties, all of my troubles, all my problems, you know, they're gonna be just gone. Like they're gonna be released, and maybe they're like not actually like, you know, physically released. Like there's still like those problems in my life, but the feeling though was there. Like that feeling of release and that relaxation, that sensational relaxation after the stretch and stuff. It's like, you know, I was like pulling myself back into this like this identity of who I was supposed to be, and I just want people to realize that this is a level of like self-belief that you can have. This is like the identity that you can start building for yourself, and that you can start experimenting with and starting to do that inner work on yourself, and combining that with your outer reality and the actions that you take outside of, you know, going into your meditations and taking that action, you know, on the things that you really want to do in this life, because you can truly do anything that you want to do. And I really believe that. Like I really believe that if you practice this, if you practice meditation, if you practice, you know, applying yourself and challenging yourself and asking yourself, like, you know, who do I need to become in the moment right here? What is the greatest version of me do in this moment? What is the identity that I need to become, you know, in order for me to step forward into that future self? And I started asking myself so many questions like these because I wanted to know who I could become. I wanted to know who it is that I was meant to be. And so, you know, remember that the people I want you guys to remember to always be yourself, because the people that matter don't mind, and the people that mind don't matter. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.